everybody. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to draw this following object as a oblique cabinet and an oblique cavalier. So the first thing we want to start off with is identifying what the height, width, and depth are. Understanding the depths are going to change between cabinet and cavalier. So my overall height here is 3. My overall width is also 3. And my depth for a cavalier is going to be 3, which is going to be my full depth. And my depth for a cabinet is going to be 1.5, or half depth. So when I'm drawing an object like this, the first thing I want to do is start off with the front face. And the front face is actually going to be this object here. You know what? I'm also going to undo that just a bit so it's a bit easier to see. There we go. So I'm going to start off by drawing this front face here. So I know that means I'm going to be going three, over 2, up 2, over 1, up 1, and over 1 again. Now I'm going to go to each one of my corners, and I'm going to ask myself how many units back I need to go. So for a cavalier, I know that I'm going back 3, 3, 3, 3, and 1. So if you remember, with my drawings here, I want to make sure that I'm perfectly bisecting these squares here. So I'm going to go back 1, 2, 3, and make that really nice 45-degree angle. 1, 2, 3 again. 1, 2, 3 again. 1, 2, 3. And lastly, I'm going to go back 1. All right, so at this point, I can start connecting some of my lines. So I know that I can connect these, go down, go over. So let's go ahead and do that. And at this point, you'll start to see the shape come together. And now this is where the slightly tricky part comes in. Is if I start down here, I can go ahead and draw this face. This square is going to appear in its true shape because it's on the same plane as that front face. So what I mean by that is that this face here that I'm highlighting and this face, the small square that I just colored in, those are on the same plane. So I can go in and I can add my depth lines back. So back 1, back 1, back 1. And then I can finish off my drawing by connecting these lines. So this is an example of a cavalier, or a drawing that's full depth. With my cabinet, it's a little bit different, and here's why. I'm still going to be starting off with my front face, so the same highlighted piece, but the difference is that instead of going back a full 3 units, I'm going to be going back 1.5 units. And this is where it's going to be a little bit more challenging because we have to cut these squares in half, which I'll show you in a second. So let's go up 3 and make this shape just as we did before. And I'm going to follow the same process. But instead of going back 3, I'm going to go back 1.5 units. 1.5, 1.5. and this one's actually just going to be half. I'll come down here and I will draw out my box. I'll connect these lines that I know come together. And then I'll go back 1.5 units again. Oh, actually, that's a mistake there. Sorry about that. Since this only goes back 1 unit, 1 unit, 1 unit, my depth here is actually just going to be half. Just like that. I can connect my boxes, bring this down, and this is an example of a cabinet or an oblique that is half depth. So in both of these cases, your tonal shading practices or your hatching can remain the exact same. So for example, if I had a light that was coming from the top, in both of these scenarios, I could go ahead and do my tonal shading just like diisometric. So I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like. So those are both on the same face. And then I would go ahead and do hatching in the opposite direction. For my remaining faces. And again, this is a part of your drawing where you'd want to use a ruler. You want to make sure that those lines are as straight as possible. Just like that. And that's how you do a Cavalier and a cabinet drawing for this particular shape. Hope that's helpful for you.